Hey everybody, welcome to a quick episode. I wanted to talk a little bit today about ecosystems. Ironically, someone asked me in my comment section and on Twitter to talk about ecosystems, my thoughts on ecosystems, especially the Samsung and Google one, because obviously we consistently hear about the Apple ecosystem. And ironically, earlier today, someone actually did a video on it, covered it a little bit, gave some favorites per device, and as a person that sells this stuff and uses this stuff on a regular basis, I wanted to give a little more information based off the day to day and my actual opinions based off not getting an unmonetized, unscripted opinion about these kind of things. Again, this is an opinion. We all know what opinions are really worth. But if you are interested, tell me what you guys think about down below. I am considering bringing back my Twitch stream and also moving some of those videos over here to kind of have a little bit more fun, a little bit more interaction with people. And maybe if some monetization goes through and helps me have more time to do things like this. But at this point, I'm doing it for fun. So as you can see here, I have the lavender Samsung Buds 2 Pro. You can actually see them in my ear. This one I'm using for microphones. I'm recording on the S22 Ultra. I actually just started this video with the pen. I have the Watch 4 on my wrist. And before this, I was always a person that pushed against these type of ecosystems because I never wanted to be caught up in this kind of stuff. I feel like the more you do things like this, the more you monopolize yourself. But the reality is I got really good deals. I got the watch through work at a crazy good deal. And then I got this phone for a really good deal around time that I was thinking it was time to upgrade. I was like, hey, let's go for it. And then, as you guys saw, I had the S7 FE and I have all these devices. And the reality was it was actually a pretty great experience. I don't really, it's hard to kind of explain as a person that understands the Apple ecosystem, the Google ecosystem, the Samsung ecosystem, and things like that. As I was saying, ecosystems are not always what they're cracked up to be, but at the same time, there's a lot of benefits. As a person that used the Galaxy Watch 4 with my modified One Plus for a while, and I also had a couple different earbuds I switched between, whether it was the older Pixel Buds, which I finally gave up for the Pixel Buds Pro, and then when I got in this ecosystem, I bought the Buds 2 Pro. Obviously, that was all in it within an amount of time where I actually I had a warranty on the old Buds. And then the Buds Pro actually turned in while I still had a return policy, and I went to the Lavender. The Lavenders are nice. I mean, it's kind of there. It's a great device. It's got a nice case. I don't like the case as much as I like the Pixel Buds case, but it does the job. I have this little clear case attached to it that I got at Best Buy that holds it onto my key ring. I don't use the pen really all that much, not nearly as much as I thought I would, because honestly, I personally don't really like writing on this smaller of a screen, so that's why I used the S7 FE so much, and I'm probably going to start doing more of that also on my Chromebook because I do have the 713. I can get a pen for that and start using cursive and do some testing on that. And obviously, some nice things that really come to fruition when you look at these ecosystems are the quality of the audio. Now, I can literally walk almost all the way across the small gym that I go to on occasion, do some lifting, and I can actually literally keep my phone on the cubby and walk around. Yesterday, I actually went a little bit further, and it didn't seem like there was any degradation in audio quality. Then you got to use YouTube Music, so it's not super high end like your Apple Musics and your Deezers of the world, but there's no cutout. It worked just fine. I can even walk into the restroom, which is right around behind it. At that point, I paused a little bit because there were some walls in between. I've not really tested all the way to see if that's going to work, so I always pause it. But realistically, I can walk around the gym and do my workouts and have limited degradation of quality, and that comes in handy because I really don't like carrying things around. There's another gym I go to a couple days a week when I have the kids that has a daycare, and they require you to walk around with like a squirt bottle and things like that. And it really annoys me. I really don't like carrying things around when I'm at the gym. And the audio quality, the 24-bit, the connection quality, and obviously the switching back and forth between the watch and the phone, if that becomes a necessity, is fantastic. They are by far the best buds of all the ones I've tried, whether it's the Soundcores, the Pixel Buds. I mean, the list goes on. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know I like technology so much it's hard for me to kind of stick around. Now, the fit doesn't touch the Pixel Buds 2020 in my opinion. Those are the best fitting buds I've ever worn, period. The way they fit, the isolation, the clip, that worked for me. Everybody's ears are different. When I first got these, I had to get used to wearing them and the feel of them. I had the first Buds Pro for a couple weeks, and that just, those things were too big. They hurt my ears, and the audio quality just wasn't worth it. And I actually bought a refurbished version, and that was not a good idea. I'd actually had earwax and stuff on that. I actually talked to some people. I may have done a video on that. I'm not sure if I did or not, but it literally had earwax when I bought them. I was like, no, I'm not keeping these things. And then did the Buds Pros. They didn't fit very well. Then I went to Buds 2 Pros. And realistically, the smaller, the audio quality, the 24-bit, obviously the quality of the DAC for Bluetooth, it's all amazing. And for someone that has been around Apple, Samsung, Google, Microsoft for so long, sells it, teaches people how to sell it, I have to say it's a great ecosystem now. Again, I'm not a big fan and a big advocate of ecosystems, but you can see more and more companies actually doing this, whether it's your OnePlus, whether obviously it's Google, Xiaomi, I mean, the list goes on. Asus has a little bit of an ecosystem with their Buds and their phone. But of course, if you look at the Samsung, you can add their Windows devices to it, their Chromebooks to it. I mean, their tablets, like the ecosystem, everything works together really well. Their tablets have DeX mode. All the ecosystem is absolutely amazing. And honestly, if I had to actually choose an ecosystem, I honestly have to tell people, even though I'm not an advocate of the Fruit brand out there, Samsung just has something behind their brand, whether we feel it in the Americas or not. I think they're just a better all-around company when it comes to their hardware, though that they have started to give in recently to a lot of the functions that Apple gets credit for, and kind of the cutback of the audio jack and the no SD card and things like that. But if you look at it from the grand scheme of things, I mean, the screen quality, the RAM, the hard drive, it's a fantastic device. I mean, just look at the quality of this video. I'm literally just sitting in the corner of my bedroom recording this from the front camera. I can control it from the pen. I can record everything right here on these Buds. It's a fantastic quality device. Yesterday, I actually had it plugged into the TV at work to play a video. Went into DeX mode, used the device as my touch screen. People were just like, really? Like, even people with Samsung devices did not realize you could do that. I use a Samsung device tablet for work. I have a personal Samsung tablet, and like I said, I have a Chromebook, and it all works together because obviously the advantage of Samsung is you also are going to have that Google ecosystem compatibility. Obviously, everything has that, but not to the same level. Like, literally, if I open up my Chromebook, it'll automatically pair to my phone. I can use my phone to unlock it. I can use my phone as a hotspot. So you don't necessarily even have to have a Samsung device to use the Samsung ecosystem when it comes to like the Chromebooks and laptops. But there are some great benefits there. I can use my phone to transfer data back and forth between my gaming laptop just as well as I can with my Chromebook. I use Samsung Flow. There's so many different things, ecosystem. So I don't want people to get away or lose themselves into thinking that the Apple ecosystem is the only one that exists. It's not. I don't even think it's the best one. I don't think it's even remotely close to being the best one. It's the best marketed one. But that's a totally different conversation. I teach my guys all the time that marketing is bad for most of these brands. I don't like Samsung's marketing. They give their competitors too much attention. They should always be working on making themselves better. They should look at themselves in a vacuum. And if they get back to looking at themselves in the vacuum like they used to, I really think things can get even that much better. Bring back the Linux beta index. Continue to push out Buds every year. Maybe not the Pros every year, but Buds every 2 years. Stagger the Pros and the Buds. Get rid of the live devices. Push the watches better. I did not upgrade to the 5 because there was no reason. It's the same RAM, same CPU, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just not worth the upgrade. However, the S9 is coming up soon. They do a fantastic job with the tablets. People can argue until they're blue in the face about the iPads. I don't think they hold a candle to what Samsung does with their tablets. I mean, obviously, the iPad is a fantastic device, but Samsung is just on another level. When you add the DeX, that AMOLED display on their Plus series and their Ultra, the size of the Ultra, that keyboard with the touchpad, the SD card expansion, The only thing that really holds back Samsung is the fact that they use Qualcomm, and there's not enough integration there. And I feel like that Samsung needs to figure out with Google how to push their processors forward. That way we can get a better integration between Android DeX and the processor and the storage and things like that. But realistically, anybody that understands technology knows that whether it's Apple or Android, we still haven't really touched the highest quality that these devices can get to. Everybody looks at the benchmarks, and realistically, your apps are always throttled anyways. So if you're thinking about performance, performance doesn't make much sense. I really kind of get annoyed when people talk about benchmarks, because unless your app acts as a benchmark on Apple, Samsung, and Google, you're going to get a throttled version of the app anyways. There is a couple retro game apps that came out that they coded on the back end that they are benchmarks so they could get better performance. I can't remember which emulators they are, but that's the case some of these companies are having to do to actually get full performance out of their devices. And that just comes down to trying to throttle heat, throttle the speed and battery life and things like that, just because Snapdragon is so far behind. And then obviously you look on the Apple side, they have these great processors that are so fast. The integration between the A series, the M series, and their software is absolutely amazing. However, you have the opposite end of the spectrum where there's hardly any multitasking. There's not enough apps to actually fully take advantage of it. Yes, you can do some video and photo editing, but there's far and away enough performance on Snapdragon to do those kind of things. And not many people are going to be sitting here doing some crazy 4K and 8K editing on an iPad. I mean, there are some that do it, but the vast majority are going to be using either a high-end MacBook, Surfaces, creator devices like Acer has out with their creator series with the OLED 90 hertz displays. Like, that's the stuff people should be using anyways, not things like what I have right here, which is why my stuff comes through unedited, unscripted, vlog style like this one is. So stop worrying about the ecosystem. You can, most devices you can kind of interact with different devices. Soundcore, I think, still makes better earbuds. Sony makes better earbuds than Samsung or Apple, in my opinion, and from my day-to-day experiences by a pretty large margin. However, there are some benefits, right? The adaptive DAC that Samsung uses, I have so much range on them. The ability that it bounces back and forth between my watch and my tablet and my phone is absolutely great. These ones do happen to be comfortable, and I think they look great. I mean, yes, they are lavender, but honestly, I grabbed them because they were the only thing that wasn't black or white. I can't remember what reason I bought the lavender. I like it. They look different. People probably look at it weirdly, but oddly. I really don't care. It's my product. I enjoy it, and I will continue to enjoy it. If you guys have comments, concerns about ecosystems, again, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but there are some benefits. The list goes on, whether it's like I said, the Samsung DAC, whether it's the ability for me to control the phone from my watch like I could if I want, but I have this, so I don't need to. The Samsung Fitness, which I don't even use. I mean, it pops up, it lets me know what the steps are. Sometimes on occasion I might compare with a friend of mine, but I don't really follow that stuff. I do most of that in my head anyways. So aside from that, I would say just get what you like, whatever you want, and as long as they interact with each other, as long as you're getting your messages, whether it's a Fitbit, a Google Watch, Samsung Watch, or the list goes on and on and on. Amazfit, Apple Watches, whatever it is you're working with based on your ecosystem. Enjoy it. Buy what you want. Don't buy stuff just because someone else says you should buy it. Don't buy it because you think that they have to be the same brand. That's a big issue people run into all the time. I'll tell you right now that the audio quality on the Soundcores, aside from the 24-bit on these newer ones, like if you look at every other Google, Samsung, Soundcore, Sony device, dollar for dollar, the Soundcore is going to compete, if not beat them. They use LDAC. You can't use multi-point with LDAC, which is a downside, but if you're not going to use that, by all means, stick with whatever ecosystem you want to use. I'm sorry for this longer video. Again, I'm going to be a little more active, whether it's between my Twitch, my Twitter, and other things, to try to get this channel to continue to grow, and to talk more about this stuff, because I really think that from the standpoint of where I'm at, and the experience I have on a day-to-day dealing with technology and my love for technology, people really need a opinion that's not paid for by the companies. So tell me what you guys think. See you soon, and thanks for hanging out. Take care. Oh, let's use it with the pen.